We've got the semis, we got the Hawks, we got the Bucks. Hawks have won 7 of their last 8. They started the season at 7-11. They are so hot right now, Lou. What's the biggest factor for this turnaround?
It looks like they're just playing well together. I think they're happy. They're playing. You know, we keep saying Trae Young's playing at peace, and I can tell like he's having fun again. He's honed in some of those long 3-pointers and giving them an opportunity to get better shots. You know, he's turning down good shots, which are these long, deep 3-pointers, and turning those into great shots. And he's getting a lot of production out of a lot of different guys. It looks like from top to bottom, they're just playing good, all around solid basketball for themselves.
Yeah, you got to look no further than Trae Young. Just the growth, the maturity that he has. I mean, he's managing a game way more than he was when he first came into the league. He came into the league as a scorer, and there was no such thing as a bad shot, and he had that freedom, and they didn't win that many games, and they had that great series against New York where they went to the Eastern Conference, but now they have a versatile roster, right? Now they have other pieces to add where they all know their role, they fall in line. Trae sets them up. He's taking better shots. Actually, his field goal percentage is down, but his assist to turnover ratio is better. He's leading this. He's playing like a true point guard. He's playing like a leader. He's playing more mature. He's playing like a vet out there with a young team.
There it is.
So it's good to see the growth of him, and then also just the rise of Jalen Johnson. He's an absolute stud. He's one of the more versatile players. He's so athletic. He can kind of do it all on both sides of the floor. So when you have that combination, you have the depth that they have. They have DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovich coming off the bench. Like they have multiple ways to hurt you.
Six-man, second in the odds for DeAndre Hunter. The point guard matchup in this one's going to be fun, obviously. You've talked about Trae Young. You got Dame on the other side. Chandler, prediction time. Who has the bigger game?
I'm going to go with Trae Young. I can't look over the Hawks right now. He loves a big stage. You saw what he does in MSG, and this could even be a bigger stage this weekend, what this tournament turns into. So Las Vegas, Saturday, prime time. Like this is Trae Young. This is what he lives for. I think he has a huge game. He knows he's going against a Hall of Fame point guard, Damian Lillard. Everyone's going to be watching. I expect him to erupt and have a huge game.
Wow, Lou. That's it's one thing to think it. It's another thing to say it. You agree?
I have to agree, 100%. You know, this started in the Garden. When he was rolling dice, we were prepared for what was the next step. And you know, this is going to be his first time in the Cup. This is going to be his first time playing in Vegas. These young Atlanta Hawks, man, they're going to be excited to be on that big stage with all of the world watching. This is kind of like championship playoff vibes. They're going to be a tough team to beat in this, and especially with Trae Young being excited and being the showman that he is.
You know what's interesting? I feel like before the season started, the Bucks had like championship expectations,
100%.
right? So I feel like this tournament, though, the NBA Cup means more to the Hawks because they're a young team that's growing, and they didn't really have championship expectations before the season. So this is kind of a huge goal and a huge task that they can conquer.
But
I think the Bucks win.
Well, no, I was going to ask you, you think it would mean more to the Hawks, but couldn't you make the argument that because they started out the way they did, that maybe each of these moments is a bigger deal to the Bucks than it would have been a couple months ago?
Well, I think the Bucks have turned the corner. I think they've made such progress in the beginning of the season and kind of put all that negative trade talk, fire talk, all that commentary
that was not long
out
ago.
the window. I just think Giannis is a problem. Giannis is damn near having a career year. They do have versatility in the Hawks. I think they'll be able to switch damn near 1 through 5 outside of Trae Young and kind of give him different looks. But I also expect Giannis to be extremely aggressive as well, to get downhill, and he could go for 40. And so it's going to be an interesting. It's a great matchup.
It's a great matchup.
I would have to take the Bucks though if I was picking one.
Lou.
Bucks can't guard. That's my thing. Even they have all of these matchups they can put on Trae Young. It really doesn't matter until they become a consistent team that's going to guard. You know, outside of Bobby Portis, who's going to get down in the stance and take these matchups personally. You know, so you can put whoever you want to on Trae Young. They're going to play, and then you know you have the emergence of Jalen Johnson. You got Dotson Daniels, who's also a guarder that you can put him on Dame Lillard and create matchup problems. So I like this matchup going both ways, but I'm still giving the edge to the Hawks. And I think both of these teams could use, you know, a morale boost. Both of these teams could use it with the way that Milwaukee started this season, to how they battle back and to being in that 6th position. But the Atlanta Hawks, they have that same narrative. They're excited as well, but I'm still giving the Hawks the edge. I want them to win the whole Cup.
Yeah.
You did call it early, though.
You did call it early. You good with that? Anything you want to add?
Well, it's just the The Bucks defense is actually rated higher than the Hawks, so I feel like you're right though. The Bucks have struggled, but the potential of their defense with Lopez and Giannis, they have the capability to defend. They're 14th. The Hawks are 17th, so neither of them.
Gotta give it the eye test, Chandler. Give it the eye.
No, I know, and neither of them. I don't think.
Get your notes. Give it the eye test.
Neither of them are really going to clamp down. I think it's who has the bigger game of the stars.
The offense.
I mean, can Jalen and Trey match the production of Dame and Giannis?
It just feels to me like the Bucks are expected to beat Atlanta, despite what their records are and everything. It just
what's the spread? What's the spread? 3.5.
Don't worry.
Bucks.
Yeah, we're going to get some betting here in a second. But we got to take a look at the second game tomorrow, which is of course the Rockets and Thunder. That's the night game. Rockets have been building. They've been building this team almost very similarly to the way OKC has, and there's a big focus on defense as a result of that. Why are you looking at me like that? Rockets to contending with the Thunder. How far are they?
Well, talent-wise, they're ways away, but the way they play, it's the number 1 defense against the number 2 defense. Like this is going to be, I think this is going to first to 100 wins this game. Like, and I think the Thunder have that advantage when you have a guy like SGA that can go and get you 40 on any given night. Jalen Williams, they can hurt you so many different ways. They're both extremely deep. We'll see whose bench gives more production here. Obviously, the advantage is the Thunder, which is everything, all the challenges they present to you. I think Hartenstein now back in the lineup is huge for them. So it's going to be an interesting game. You saw the score of the Rockets game last round, like it was 90s. Like so, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again, just because both of these teams, they're going to play slow. It's going to be playoff basketball. They're going to slow it down. They're going to play more in the half court, which I think when it does slow down and they're in the half court sets, I think the Thunder have a huge, huge advantage.
Mr. Lou, what do you think?
Take the Rockets so it's fun.
I was trying to make it fun.
But you can't.
But you don't. You just no.
I just can't. I can't find it, and I don't want to be dishonest. OKC is gonna beat the hell out of Houston.
The hell out of
what they did to Dallas the other night. It's just how could anybody pick Houston in this game?
I don't know, because Houston's hot. Like there's something to be said.
Well, they're 1-2, but I think there's a big gap. There's a big gap with how they're playing. You know, even Oklahoma City, like they're still trying to find their way. They hadn't accomplished much, but it's the style of play, it's the way they go about business that makes me feel that way. That they're head and shoulders above the Houston Rockets and what they're trying to do. You know, even though they're the number 1 and number 2 rated defenses, when it comes to offense, there's a big gap, and that's where you're gonna see. That's where you're going to see that gap being created with these two teams.
Would you agree, Lou, that there's a bigger gap between the Thunder and the Rockets than the Celtics and the Cavs?
I would say yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Like, I think the Thunder are that much better than everyone else.
The Celtics off again, but all right, well done, I suppose. You know how this works. They did it last year. They got
I'm just saying, after what they did, I can't unsee it.
All right, it's time to make some money. We're headed to the right place. From BR Betting, Ryan Ribeiro joins us now. What's up, Ryan? Good day, sir. Good day. Look, you've probably heard we've been talking about both of the games coming up, sort of where everybody is. We'll start with the first game so we can get some good props out of this. But Atlanta is very hot, hottest team since Thanksgiving. The Bucks have also figured some things out, so they're on a nice run here as well. 3.5-point favorites for Milwaukee. Let's start. What do you got for us on this first game?
Yeah, I don't love making a habit of betting on a Doc Rivers coach basketball team, but I will say that I think the Milwaukee Bucks are a little bit hotter than we're giving them credit for. They've won 8 out of their last 10 too. So I think the Milwaukee Bucks are playing some good basketball. You know, we mentioned you guys had mentioned that, you know, Atlanta's rated a little bit lower than Milwaukee in some categories. They're rated more to the middle, to the bottom of the league in offense and defensive rating. They don't do anything exceptionally well. I will say, though, I'll give Atlanta credit. Their assist percentage is 4th in the league, so they don't rely on just 1 or 2 guys the same way that Milwaukee does. But Milwaukee's 1 or 2 guys are Damian Lillard and Giannis. So I will take the Bucks 3.5 in this one. I would love to just take the money line, but minus 166 is a little rich for my blood.
The player props is where, you know, we obviously excel here.
It's where we thrive.
Yeah, it's really where we make the money. You're a fade dude, though, which is crazy because I don't know if I've ever done that. So what do you have for player props?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a sicko. I'm not going to lie. I started this like 2 years ago, and now I can't watch a basketball game without thinking like, man, I kind of would like to root for that guy to miss a shot.
Wow.
In this one, though, I'm sorry, Lou. I'm going to have to go against your guy, Trae Young. Not in the points department, though. Under 11.5 assists. He's played 15 games against the Milwaukee Bucks the regular season in his career. Only 3 times has he gone over this number. Also, NBA Cup. you know, we've talked about it. It's kind of a semifinal game. The Hawks' lives are on the line in this game. If they're fighting to win this game, I think Trae Young will be putting the ball up. I would love to see it. I think everyone would love to see a battle where Dame and Trae are just chucking up threes the whole time. That's what I want to see. I also want to see it because I'll be betting under 11.5 assists. In 3 out of the 4 NBA Cup games, he has gone to the under of that number. So I like Trae Young under 11.5 assists.
It's also crazy, like 11 assists, you still cover. It's still a lot of times. Right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I do think in a situation like this where it's a huge stage, there's a lot to play for, I think the unders are more the play because they're going to be tighter. Guys are going to play slower. Possessions are going to matter more. So I would be in favor as well on the unders almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Look
it's not a fun watch.
God, Ryan,
No,
you already got
not
Chandler
good for ratings.
Flip. Okay, fine. All right, second game. We've talked a lot about it. The Rockets, the Thunder, both young, both hot, both hungry, although these guys think OKC is that much further above the Rockets at this point. 5.5-point favorites for OKC. How do we see this one playing out?
Yeah, I don't see it the same way the guys do. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like the Rockets plus 5.5 here. This is a team that when they lose, they don't really get blown out. Their average margin of defeat is just over 6. We're getting a line here that's 5.5. I really like it. We had mentioned they're kind of 1 and 2 in the league, but also, you know, you guys were talking about with the Hawks, how they're kind of a younger team. The NBA Cup is important to them. I think the same with Houston. Jamal Mosley, the Magic, kind of said it a few weeks ago as well, where he was like, this is really important to us. Like, we really want to win these games. And while I'm not saying it's not important to OKC, I think for the Rockets, this would be a huge step for them morale-wise to kind of be like, yeah, right now we are tied for the second seed of the Western Conference. Like, we are for real. I'm not saying they win this game, but 5.5 points, it's kind of a lot. I think it's going to be a close game.
So it'll be close, like 1 or 2 point maybe. That is interesting, the morale, because we speak of OKC, and rightfully so, because we all assume they're going to win championships, but we speak of them as though they already have, and that this would be a morale boost for Houston, and I'm like, OKC.
And for a rather young team, we trust OKC a lot. It's just because we can't, because the production, because it's undeniable how they play. Jalen Williams, how good he is. SGA is an absolute stud. SGA by far is the best player on the court in this game. And I think that's going to show.
Okay, so we got a BR betting, run it back, same game parlay. Do not be the one that ruins this, guys. Here we go. Ryan, first 2 picks are yours. Go.
Okay, I am going to go Isaiah Hartenstein, 10-plus rebounds. He's played in 9 games so far this year. It's hit in 8 of those 9 games. So I really like this. I think last time out against Houston, he had 13 rebounds. So I really like Hartenstein, 10-plus rebounds. The other one is a little chalky. This is not fun. Alperen Sengun, 4+ assists. It's like minus 380.
Okay.
So it's not the sharpest play in the world, but I'm a big, like, take the big man to get assists. You know, post up down low, draw some attention, kick it out. It's hitting 8 of his last 10. So those are my 2 plays for this game. I think those are safe plays. I'll let you guys make the risky ones and potentially lose.
I like yours, and now I'm looking at ours, and I'm starting to worry. That's all right. Chandler, go for
No, I don't think mine's risky at all. I like Jalen Green, 15+ points. Every time he has a bad game, November 26th, he had 9 points, came back with 41. 9 points again, came back with 28. 14 points, came back with 31. Last game, he had 12. I think this guy's an absolute scorer. They need his production offensively to have any chance in this game. I think at minus 180, I don't want to say a lock, but this is
Don't say it. Don't do it. By the way, Lou, you're next, and I'm a little worried because both you and I, we both can't be right. So go ahead.
No, I feel good about Jalen Williams and what he's going to bring to the table. I got him over 21.5 points. That's right there at his average. He's averaging 21.8. So if he's doing this on a nightly basis for a big game, I feel like he's going to have a big time outing. So I like Jalen Williams over him.
It's interesting though because the number 1 and number 2 defense, and we're all just still riding the overs. So.
And that's why I'm worried because mine is the SGA point situation, and I'm doing it strictly because I do think he's going to go out there and it's going to be such a fun, hot spotlight. Like you said, everyone will be watching these
Dylan
games.
Brooks is going to be hawking.
That's what I'm worried about.
Chandler, you know, a lot of times when you have the number 1 and 2 defenses, the stars are going to be the stars. The guys that are going to be impacted by this, there's going to be the bench players and the guys guy that's usually good for 10 to 15 points a night, that's probably going to get cut down to about 8.
If I had to
Plus
pick,
902, I'd put my savings there.
yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one that's going to burn us, it's Michelle's per usual.
Me too. I'm going to pick mine as the weakest link on the whole thing. I probably would do that
But
over
now that
again.
I said that, that'll be the only one that would cover. So thank you for your service.
Ryan, this is awesome. What we do know is you will probably be right in all of the picks you just gave us. And yeah, we'll get back to that. Thanks, sir. We'll be right back.
Run it up, run it back, run it up.